That's the best part of selling this thing, because it always gets a reaction from people. It's either a laugh, or it's that is so cool, if it's Mexican people, they're like, oh yeah, it's a Mexican superhero. The beautiful thing of it is that it's always had like a great reaction. My name is Lopez. I'm a character designer for the animation industry. I'm currently here at the con in New York promoting my book, Mariachi Samurai. Mariachi Samurai, the book itself, it's a sketchbook with a lot of the character design work that I've done in animation, personal work, just stuff that I did at school, just fun little drawings. The concept for Mariachi Samurai came up because I wanted to give the book a title, something that will make it its own, instead of having, like the art of Jose Lopez or the sketchbook of Jose Lopez. So, just trying to come up with a cool little name for the book. Just trying different things. We came up with Mariachi Samurai, and it just sort of clicked, and we thought it was a good idea. I've always liked drawing since I was a little kid, and I lived in Mexico for a number of years, and I was like, well, there isn't really an industry for artists, at least I don't know, 20 years ago or so. Especially for animation, because that's what I really wanted to do. But then we moved back to the States, and then in high school I just started pursuing it more. I went to school, after graduating high school, I went to school called the Animation Academy. I met some really cool people. I met a guy named Charles who really, sort of like my mentor. And he really helped me out develop my skills. The school actually got a call from Sony Animation, and they were looking for designers. And my friends told me about it. I submitted a portfolio, and then I got picked for the job. So I started working, it was actually about 10 years ago at Sony Animation on the Godzilla show for that movie that came out way back. Anybody that wants to break into the field, obviously the main thing is you have to be really good at drawing. The better you are, your chances are just a lot stronger. Try to meet people in the industry. That's always been a big thing with me. Most of the jobs that I've gotten has been from references from other people. People that I work with that have always been like, if they're looking for a character guy, they always recommend me. And the other biggest thing is just your personality. You have to be able to work with different artists. You have to be able to work in a team environment. You have to be able to, handle criticism and handle, people going over your work and changing it and all this stuff. And you got to have a good attitude for that. So that's about it. Right now, I just finished developing some stuff for Blur for the new heavy metal movie. So I think that's coming out next year or so. I'm working on the Mariachi Samurai graphic novel, so we're going to be able to see a little bit of the story of the character, see him in action, interact in his world with other characters. I'm working on another sketchbook, so I'm still debating when that's going to come out. And the next big thing is I'm currently working for Google, developing a project for those guys doing designs. So, you know how Google is, they don't really promote any of their stuff, but just go to the site, try to dig it up, and you'll recognize my art once you see the stuff. For any people out there that likes to draw, just pursue your dreams. You can make a living out of drawing funny stuff. The animation industry is a very, very competitive industry, but nothing can stop you if you put your mind to it.